Hello everybody, this is pt.14 and welcome back to some more Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, the Imprisoned Turnabout. In the previous episode, we had used the metal detector to find some weights that were used in the show, and it seemed the metal detector seems to be reacting to the alligator as well. I'm going to find out why. If you like what you see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and share with your friends so they can join in on this investigation. It's a different reaction, sir, and it's definitely coming from the alligator. And it's gone. It's gone. Looks like it's scared of us. I don't think so, Kay. Huh? If anything, I think Allie looks a little under the weather. Allie? I suppose that was what Warden Rowland called it. She didn't eat any of the food that the warden gave her yesterday. I think she might have eaten something bad. So I guess the metal detector could be reacting to whatever the alligator ate. Oh, maybe she ate one of the weights. And that even an alligator can ingest a 33-pound weight. But what could the metal detector be reacting to? And regardless, why were these weights hidden? Maybe we should take another look at the device on the well. Okay, I'd like you to recreate the after the show scene again. Alright, leave it to me. The wound residents have expected every suspicious looking cranny. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? There's 3 pulleys, 2 ropes, and some weights. Eureka! Or not. Yeah. Maybe it's the rope, too. Eureka! This recreation in the device we saw earlier. There's a major discrepancy. One of the ropes is missing. You're right. Without it, the device won't work. I wonder what happened to it. Where did the missing rope disappear to? It's possible that we hold a piece of evidence that shows where the rope went. Huh? Which piece of evidence shows where the missing rope went? Take that! It was on the body! Somewhere, yeah. I'm screwing up all over the place. Take that! Really? I had the right idea! Alright, fine. The rope we found with the dead body. Could it be? Yes, it could be the other piece of rope that was used here. Then does that mean this rope was attached to the weight? However, the weight was not one of those metal weights. Those weights were hidden in the grass and replaced with something else. If they were replaced, then what was used as the weight? What was tied to the rope we found in the workroom? If we can recall that, then the answer should be clear. The weight that was dropped in the place of the weights that Mr. Keys had prepared was... It was the... What was the rope tied to in the workroom? Was it the sheet? Take that! And alongside the missing rope. I swear to God, if it was the body. Take that! It was the body. What was dropped down the well was none other than Knightley's dead body. Mr. Knightley's dead body was used as the weight? Yes, the weights were replaced with Knightley's body. Mr. Keyes used the device to launch himself off the stage. When the rope that was tied to him was undone and let go, both the body and the rope dropped down the well. The rope wasn't used to tie up Knightley. It was used to suspend him in the well. That also explains why the other weights were hidden. So that no one would find out that the weights were replaced with the body. Yes, the killer was the one who hid those weights. But Miles, wasn't Knightley boy stabbed him in the neck with the murder weapon? If he was suspended in the well, wouldn't there be blood at the bottom of the well? The killer was also aware of that. That's why they used this item. Now it's the sheets. Take that! The sheet we found near the body. It was used to wrap up the body. I see. So it looks like all the pieces are starting to come together, huh? But this means that the body definitely came from the well. If that's the case, wouldn't that mean Simon is the killer? No, that's not necessarily the case. Huh? But yesterday Judge Courtney said if Mr. Keyes was the killer, would he have needed to set up such an elaborate device? I guess you have a point. Mr. Keyes was only responsible for dropping the body down the show. During the show. In other words, it doesn't matter where the real killer was, or what they were doing during the show. Until now, this placed the doubt on the people who did not watch the animal show. It's true, we were all suspecting Mr. Dogan. The killer's true intent was to make us think that the murder occurred during the show. In other words, they used a device to create a on the well to create a fake alibi. Miss Berry, do you know when this device on the well was set up? Let me think. The day before the show, I think it was at night. We all started preparing at 9 p.m. We finished at around midnight. The killer replaced the weights with the dead body afterwards. Did Dogan know about the device? No, even if he knew about the device, it wouldn't be possible for him to use it. You can't teach a dog to suspend a body in a well. In other words, Dogan is not the killer. See what we have in logic. Sorry about that. A little bit of a cut there, which is going to make it a bitch for me to edit, but I accidentally clicked the button to minimize things, so... Okay. Let's keep it on this. Rising show along with which switch with the body. Night before the show, missing apples. Day before the show was gone the next morning. Could that be connected at some point in some way? Nope. Can't see a clear connection between these two pieces of information. I need to think this over one more time. Alright, so we don't have anything then. What else? What else? What else? This pond is where Wooden Roland keeps a pet alligator. I guess those fish bones were the remains of her last meal. I don't think an alligator would leave such clean bones, but she had a very fine-looking face. I couldn't tell at all. That's because I'm a girl who's good with faces. Why don't I feel the least bit jealous? Okay, so nothing changed. this is the stage where they put on the animal show. If I put on a great thief show, I wonder who would come. I'm pretty sure the police would show up. Change it. Okay. So what changed? So we're done in that area. Yeah. Oh, poor missile. These chairs are lined up in an orderly fashion. I guess there were a few empty seats during the performance. The intimate atmosphere and the closeness between the stage and the audience? It reminds me of the karaoke tournament I entered when I was a kid. Karaoke tournament? I was the runner-up. Oh, okay. I'm not singing that. Yep. Okay. What am I missing? What am I missing? Oh? This crate was empty in the recreation scene. Oh, okay. I'm gonna give it a shot. Okay. The apples in the crates were probably eaten by a Mystique. But it's strange. I remember leaving the crate out of reach for Mystique's nose. Are you certain? Yes. The crate was still full of apples on the night before the show. Then the cart was moved to where her nose could reach it. With that many apples, it could not have been moved by the wind. Most likely, the crate was moved by a person. Prior to the show, the cart's position was already changed and the apples were all eaten. This appears to be the correct information. Please update the simulation parameters, K. No wonder I thought it smelled like animals. It contained the elephant's food. This was filled with Mystique's apples. That's right, on the day before the show, it was full of apples. And in the morning, they were all gone. Oh, did you think of something? You could say that. This card was moved the night before the show. The body was also switched the night before the show. I don't think it was just a coincidence. Keeping that in mind, the question it now becomes, why was the cart moved? The cart used to be in front of that door. I can think of one reason why. Somebody opened that door! Alright, let's hurry up and... the door's locked. Let's ask a guard. Hey, Mr. Guard! Yes, what is it? That was fast. You there. Where's the keys to this door? The warden is in charge of the keys here. Without the warden's permission, the store can't be opened. The circuit breaker panel. This must be the breaker room. On the night before the show, somebody came into this room. I wonder why they would come in here. I don't think anyone would confuse the breaker room with the break room. It was definitely used to operate the circuit breakers. And so someone came here to shut off the power to something. Was there anything that had its power shut off? What could have had the power shut off by the breaker? The camera? Security gates? Maybe? I was thinking the camera, but the door sensor? If it's been powered off, it would have caused a huge problem. Yes, but that's not the answer. If the breaker tripped, the electrical equipment would have been lost power. Is there any evidence that can prove this? Take that! Oh, okay, it was the camera. Security camera footage had a 3-hour gap. I see! The circuit breaker for the security camera was tripped. It's highly possible. Was this the killer's handiwork? With the camera shut down, it would have been easier to move about. The killer would have had a major advantage. I knew it! If that's the case, the killer was the person who tripped the breaker. The person in charge of the key to the breaker room is... It couldn't be! Deactivating the recreation. I'm first in the scene as always. Good morning, Mr. DeBest. What? You? How did you get here before me? Greetings, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I see you have arrived early. Or maybe it is you who are late, Judge Courtney. I have many matters which require my attention. I have no time to waste, unlike a certain prosecutor who was taken off the case. Oh, my apologies. I had forgotten that you were assisting the defense attorney. An assistant can never be the best. You've fallen like the rest. You just say whatever you like, don't you? Let us begin your examination of the courtyard, Sebastian. All right, I'll call the men over. Hold it. That would be unnecessary. What? We have already finished the investigation of the courtyard. You've been bested. Bested? What? Judge Courtney. Your reasoning from yesterday. Watch me shatter it to pieces. I would advise you to choose your words more carefully. Have you forgotten that the fate of your badge rests in my hands? I've had enough of such coercion. Can't you think of some other way to threaten me that does not involve my badge? Despite my repeated warnings, you show no signs of reflection. It seems I must remind you once more. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee can't leave someone such as yourself unchecked. Neither the fate of my badge nor the actions of the committee will impede my progress. Proving Mr. Key's innocence. That is all that concerns me. Your words are your words are like those of a defense attorney. If you are willing to go that far, then I will show no leniency. In the name of the goddess of law, I shall turn your words against you. And at that moment, you will forfeit the title of prosecutor. You shall regret this. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Albert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it could only have been dropped down the well during the show. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Naturally, you have evidence to support your reasoning. Of course she does. Who do you think she is? Earlier, I received the official autopsy report. Babysitting that kid must be difficult. The time of death was the night before the body was discovered. In other words, the day before the show. The cause of death remains unchanged, a stab wound 4 inches deep. Someone from 3 AM to 6 AM on March 27th. Simon Keyes was not present on the stage for a period of 15 minutes. There was sufficient time for him to drop the body down the well. She has not investigated the courtyard yet. This means... It seems that there's a hole in your argument. You seem quite confident. Can you present evidence to support your claim? Of course I can, and I will. I shared my reasoning with you the day before. Since Mr. Albert did not see the body when he passed through the tunnel, it should only have been dropped down the well during the show. Hold it! The body was dropped down the well during the show. I'd like to hear your reasoning for this. The day before the show, Mr. Albert lent the key to Mr. Knightley. Key to Knightley's cell, huh? Mr. Knightley escaped from his cell with the key and entered the cage Mr. Keyes had prepared. Mr. Keyes had then moved the cage to the courtyard and proceeded to murder Mr. Knightley. The day before, when Mr. Albert passed through the tunnel, he did not come across the body. Please wait a moment. That doesn't seem right at all. Wasn't there a sweet smell in the tunnel? Mr. Knightley must have passed through it. Mr. Knightley passed through the tunnel after Mr. Albert did. Mr. Albert passed through the tunnel at the start of the show. However, the body wasn't found until the end of the show, which is why you believe the body was dropped during the show. Yes, and there's only one person who could have carried out this act. The only one who could have performed such an act is the suspect. Hold it! There is no one else who could have committed the murder. I heard that Miss Barry was present on stage at all times. A great number of prisoners were also watching the show. Even the prisoners who did not see it have sufficient alibis. How about the guards? Along with the warden, nearly everyone was watching the show. But there must have been a chance for even one of them to approach the well. During the show, none of the guards left their posts. That much is certain. They all testified as such. Ugh. She left no room for oversight. Do you finally admit that only Simon Keyes could have been the criminal? Judge Courtney has not thoroughly examined the courtyard like we have, so there's a bit of gap in the argument, right? I should review the evidence we obtained in the courtyard. Okay, so we're back at square one. But technically, that's not wrong. Hold it! Couldn't it be possible that Albert just failed to notice the body? Mr. Assistant's assistant, did you also enter the hole? Huh? How'd you know? I noticed that there was some mud stuck to your lovely hair ornament yesterday. It's amazing, your powers of observation would even put a great thief to shame. In the name of Goddess of Law, answer me truthfully. If there were a dead body in that tunnel, would it have escaped your notice? Well, the thing is, yeah, I think I would have noticed something like that. Do you understand now? Mr. Albert did not see the body. It could only have been dropped during the well, on the well. Oh shit. Didn't mean to do that. Objection! No, not this one. Contradiction in your testimony. I cannot authorize this statement. And why not? Because it's obvious you're bluffing. Ugh, is that the impression I give off? Next time for sure, I will present evidence that will silence her for good. Objection! Unfortunately for you, Judge Courtney, your argument doesn't hold any water, just like the well. There is a device set up around the well here. What is this device you speak of? Are you aware of the stunt in which Mr. Keyes is blown away by the elephant during the show? I have heard of it. It would have been right before he exits the stage. He's tied one end of a length of rope to himself and the other end to a set of weights. He would have been able to perform the stunt by dropping these weights down the well. Wouldn't he have spent the whole place suspended in the air? That's why he had a stopper attached to the weighted end. The stopper was removed by pulling another rope. Around the well, we found evidence that the weights were switched with the victim's body. That was done by the real killer in order to shift the suspicion away from them. Judging from the time of death, the murder was carried out in the early morning of the show. The true criminal had until the time the show started to set up the device. But didn't Simon Keyes make that thing? And since he was also the one who used it, he is the best suspect. Don't you agree? Objection. If Mr. Keyes were the murderer, he would not have needed to do that. Miss Berry. Yes? Was there anyone else who knew of the device set up? Well, let me see. Since we had to get everything about our show approved by the people here at the prison, I'd say there were others who knew about it. And there you have it. I see. You have indeed performed a thorough investigation, which is why I'm even more further perplexed. Why do you not use your efforts for justice? My actions are not just. Who made that decision? You cannot understand even that. Even now, providing support to defense attorney despite being a prosecutor, it is quite unnatural. This goes against the rules. I'm merely choosing to do what I think is right at this particular time. I travel down the road I have chosen. Your comprehension does not matter in the least. However, if anyone intends to interfere, I will show no mercy. Perhaps this is the calling from the goddess of law. If you intend to rebel against her divine will, I will have no choice but to hand down my verdict. Pay heed to my words. I have one more reason to suspect Simon Keyes of murder. Alright. Seems like we're getting to the end of it, so we're going to end it off here. In the next episode of Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, the Imprisoned Turnabout, we are going to go... each time I say that, I put my foot in my mouth. We're going to listen to her other reason for suspicion. I will see you guys later.